The most financially disciplined people in America are quietly losing the wealth game, and not one piece of advice they follow is telling them why. Not broke, not reckless. Working hard, staying consistent, tracking every dollar with intention, and still watching the distance between where they are and where they want to be hold exactly the same month after month. If any part of that sentence landed anywhere near your chest, stay with me for the next 10 minutes. Because this is not a discipline problem. It's not a motivation problem. It's a resource allocation problem, and until you see what's actually being consumed, you'll keep pouring effort into a system that generates almost no compound return. Here's what the stuck version of this looks like from the inside. You check your account before making any purchase over $40. You review your monthly expenses. You set savings reminders. You manually decide every single month whether to contribute to your investment account, how much, and when. You carry a constant, low-grade mental ledger of where your money is and where it should be. You are not lazy. You are exhausted, and that exhaustion isn't weakness. It's accurate feedback that a system is burning the wrong fuel through the wrong engine. Behavioral economists have a term for the total mental processing load a person carries at any given moment. They call it cognitive load, and here's what decades of research have confirmed: it's a finite resource, not infinite. Finite. You have a fixed daily supply, and every conscious decision you make draws from the same tank. When that supply runs low, impulse control weakens. Long-term financial planning becomes harder. Income-producing decisions get delayed or avoided entirely. It doesn't feel like depletion. It feels like a vague reluctance to deal with one more thing, but the research is unambiguous. Every manual money management decision you make today is consuming the exact resource you need to grow your income tomorrow. Not metaphorically, neurologically. The same cognitive fuel you spend deciding whether to transfer $200 to your savings this week is the same fuel you need to negotiate a raise, evaluate a side income stream, or recognize an investment window before it closes. When you spend it on the small stuff, you arrive depleted at the decisions that actually compound. And here's what makes this so invisible. The drain never sends an alert. No notification, no warning, just a progressively thinner margin of mental clarity every time a real opportunity shows up. Think about how elite sprinters manage energy. A world-class sprinter doesn't run at race pace during warm-up. A professional fighter doesn't throw full power strikes the morning of a fight. The entire architecture of elite physical performance is built around one principle: preserve explosive capacity for the exact moment it creates an outcome. Your financial discipline works identically. Most people's money management system is built completely backwards. They burn maximum cognitive effort on low-return warm-up laps all month, micro-tracking, manual transfers, recurring budget reviews that move the number by $30, and then arrive at the income-critical moments of their financial life running on 12%. At 12%, you don't negotiate a raise. You accept what's offered and tell yourself you'll push harder next quarter. At 12%, you don't evaluate the investment. You defer it to a better time. At 12%, the side income stream that could have changed your entire financial trajectory gets reduced to a note in your phone that says, "Look into this later." Later never has more fuel than right now. This is the wealth drain nobody talks about, not the money leaving your account, but the cognitive capacity leaving your judgment before the decisions that actually matter ever arrive. Now here's the inversion that changes everything. Wealthy people don't have more financial discipline than you. They have fewer decisions that require it. This is not a mindset shift. This is an engineering choice. The financially free have built wealth-building systems where the default outcome, what happens automatically when nobody is paying active attention, is already aligned with their financial goals. Money moves without them. Investments compound without a monthly negotiation between present desire and future self. Savings stack without willpower. And because of that, the rare moments that actually demand real human judgment, the income negotiation, the business pivot, the asset allocation decision, arrive with a full tank, not 12%, full. This is the difference between someone who manages their finances and someone whose finances run themselves. So what are the 5 specific places this drain is happening to you right now? Drain 1, the monthly savings decision. Every month, you consciously decide whether to save money and how much. That is not a savings habit, that is a recurring willpower tax. The automated fix, a standing automatic transfer set to execute on payday before the money ever reaches your checking account. You decide once, it runs permanently, the drain disappears. Drain 2, the background budget surveillance. Most people carry a constant low-level mental awareness of their spending all week, an invisible financial ledger running in the background. It feels like responsibility. But financial control isn't created by mental monitoring. It's created by reducing the number of variable decisions your system requires. One structured 5-minute weekly review replaces 7 days of background cognitive load. Drain 3, the investment contribution delay. If you're making an active monthly decision about whether to invest and how much, you're burning financial discipline on a decision that should already have been made once. Financial automation through automatic investment contributions on a fixed schedule removes a recurring negotiation between present comfort and future wealth. Most people know this. Most people still aren't doing it, and the compound cost of that delay moves in both directions. Drain 4, the income growth tracking gap. Most earners have no real-time picture of income growth relative to effort. They feel underpaid but can't quantify the specific gap. That ambiguity generates a permanent background anxiety, a low-grade financial unease that subtly degrades decision quality all week long. A single monthly income tracking metric eliminates the noise and replaces uncertainty with data. One number, one trend line, no mental fog. Drain 5, the guilt loop after system failure. This one is invisible and brutal. When manual systems fail, when you miss a savings month, when you overspend and have to readjust, the cost isn't just the money. It's the self-interrogation that follows, the rehashing, the renewed promises to do better. That loop consumes more cognitive bandwidth than the original decision ever did. Rule-based automated systems don't fail personally. When automation misses, there's no guilt, only adjustment, zero drain. Here's what the Wealth Drain Audit actually reveals. You are not wasting money, you are wasting the resource that generates it. Every one of those 5 drains shares the same underlying structure. A decision that could be governed by a permanent rule is instead governed by a monthly act of willpower. And willpower spent on governed decisions is willpower stolen from income growth decisions. Financial automation isn't passive, it's strategic liberation. When your financial life runs on systems, you stop being the operator of your money and become the architect of it. Architects don't manually manage, they design leverage. They have the mental clarity to recognize when a $15 an hour side project can scale to $1,500 a month, because they're not already carrying the cognitive weight of 20 micro decisions that should have been permanent rules. This is how wealth building actually works, not through more discipline, but through fewer places where discipline is required. Here's what you do today, not next week, not when you figure out the perfect amount. Set one automatic transfer before this week ends. The amount matters less than the architecture because that transfer doesn't just move money. It permanently removes one recurring drain from your cognitive load. And then identify which of the 5 drains is costing you the most mental fuel right now. Replace it with a rule before Sunday. That is what financial momentum actually feels like, not motivation, not a burst of discipline. A wealth-building system that runs when you're tired, when you're distracted, when you're doing something that actually creates real income growth. Your financial discipline was never the problem. The problem was spending it on transactions that don't deserve it. One last thing. When you close those 5 drains, when the low-leverage decisions disappear from your daily cognitive load, you'll notice something you didn't expect. Space, real mental bandwidth, not free time, capacity. And here's what separates the people who use that capacity to achieve financial freedom from the people who just fill it back up with more financial anxiety. They answer one question differently. What would you actually build with 90 additional minutes of clear financial thinking every week? The broke version answers, I'd finally get organized. The wealth building version answers, I'd figure out how to never need to organize this again, and then I'd build something. That question is more honest about your financial future than your savings rate, your investment account, or your income level combined. Think about what you'd actually build.